Hi everyone, it's Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. Alright, we are going to add a card to my Let's Make a Card series. This is a real simple one. You can add whatever colors or change things up. Just think outside the box when it comes to that. And this is going to be our basic A2 card. So the finished size is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And here are some pieces that I'm using. Let's see. So we have our card base. And then I have, which this came from Stampin' Up. I have my 2 card mats. So the card base is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. And just remember, you can go back to my very first video, and in the very first part, if you just watch that, it's all the basics of a card. So I'm not going to go over everything again, but I have what this is. I have the mat sizes. If you've never done cards, I have all that in there. So I have my patterned paper that I'm going to use, and then I have a couple of little, I don't know what you call it, I guess. Well, this is just a index card, and it's thin. This just was in my paper stash, and it's not too thick either. And here's what we're going to do to get the effect. Oh, first of all, I am using this stamp die cut, and then I used this stamp set. They probably don't have it anymore. I'm just showing it to you, but it's Stampin' Up product, and this is a Stampin' Up as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was. Okay. So I have those all ready to go. And the first thing I'm going to do, and like, I'm only going to do one of these, but I'm just showing you real quick, you know, how I do this process. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to bring in some book pages, and this one's a nice, yummy yellow. Oh, it's going to look good against this. But yeah, this was just on its own dark. You can always make them darker by inking them up, but pick the page of your choice. You can also do any type of a book page, music page, dictionary page for this process. So what I do is I just make sure it is in the middle of the wording. And I just, to make it easier on myself, I just kind of draw a pencil mark of where I'm going to lay that down. And I'm gonna, this particular one, I am gonna do it on this side. I don't think that the lines will show through, but since that'll be glued down, it doesn't matter. And then what I like to do is, instead of trying to glue this and get all the edges, I like to just glue the paper. And that's why I put the lines there, so I can see exactly where those edges are, and then I can get those corners really good. And make sure I have that glued up. I'm just using Scotch glue stick. It is my glue stick of choice, but I think you can use any glue stick. Just, you know, as long as you know that it stays down fairly well. You don't want your card coming apart before it gets to the recipient. And then that way I just lay that in there. And then what I do is I just take either another book page, like I won't be using that one, and then I just start to do that and rub it down there just to get it down real good. But then I don't leave it there, I peel it up, because obviously we now have sticky there. So I'm just making sure those edges are really good. Okay, and then that's gonna dry. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna let that dry a little bit, and I'm actually gonna go to this one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna trim off all these edges, and then you end up with this. So I am going to go ahead and ink, not around these edges because I don't need to, but I'm going to ink the top just in case, well, not just in case, it will. It's going to show up here. Okay, so I've got that. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my paper, and I'm going to take my tear ruler. Now you can use any ruler, you can use pretty scissors, it doesn't matter. Use what you have. but I'm gonna, actually it's torn on this side. Do you see where I had played with it before? So I think what I'll do is I'm just gonna cut down at an angle, this edge, okay? So I think I'll put that one over here, and then I'm gonna tear another one. So I'm gonna tear, let's see, yeah, I'm gonna tear sort of on an angle because I wanna angle this one. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I have that one angled, and then I'm gonna do one for the middle, and I want both of these edges to be jaggedy because that one's gonna go right down the center. Okay, so let's see, where do I want that to land? This is gonna be about here. This is gonna be about here. So I know that I'm probably gonna be gluing this here. But before I do that, of course, I could bring that one down a little bit more too. Yeah, I might do that. But I'm gonna ink these up real quick. Just where I know that they're gonna be showing. And remember, I don't need to ink the edge, not yet, because it's going to be trimmed off anyway. All right, so we've got that done. Put my lid back on so that doesn't dry out. Okay, so I'm going to bring my glue book back over here. And now what I'm going to do is, this one's a bit thinner, so I'm just going to butt that right up to the edge. And then this one, that's going in the middle. So you just kind of play around with it and see kind of where you like it. So I'm just going to start with each of my edges first. And you can use a glue stick or you can use your art glitter glue for this, but I'm just going to use a glue stick. And I know some of this is getting trimmed, but I'm just gluing everything up just in case I decide I want to move it. It's glued everywhere I need it. So I'm just going to come right up to the edge with that one. I don't care if it's hanging over a little bit because I can always trim that off. Okay, and then I'm going to put this one, let's see if I do, I think I want the bigger end up here for that one. Oh, look, I ripped them in the wrong direction. I don't care, I'm going to keep it. I'm just going to keep it that way. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this one just about here. So a lot of times when I kind of get it where I need it, and I know this one's not, I'm not gluing it further in right to the edge. I, again, use my pencil mark so that I know that is right where I'm going to lay that card. And then what I'll do is glue it right from here. And then lay it right down. I don't know if you can see the pencil mark, but I can see it. And I'm going to lay it down right there. Okay. I think I better get a clean sheet. Okay. So now I have that all done and ready to go. And then I'm going to line up where I want this one, which I think right about here. So again, I'm just going to turn it over, and then I'm going to just mark where I'm going to need that glue. But this time I'm not going to glue from this way. I'm just going to glue in between those lines and then bring it back over so I can position it where I want it. I mean, and it sort of gives the illusion that you've actually ripped all of the strips, including the book page, but you haven't. You have just, oh, I gotta go down a little bit further. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna move it over about here. That's good. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this is just a fun way to do cards. And like I said, you can do any combination that you want. And then you trim off your edges. You can leave it just the book page if you want. And then put some embellishments on the front. And I do like making things out of book pages and music pages. All that fun stuff. Especially these old Reader's Digest, when I find ones that are really yellowed, like this one. Oh, they're just yummy. Yummy paper. And don't feel bad about ripping them up, because if they don't get bought or sold somewhere and they get too many books and they can't get rid of them, guess where they go? Yep, in the furnace. They get rid of them, they put them in dumpsters, and you are rescuing books that would be thrown away. So don't feel bad about ripping them up. All right, so I went ahead and inked all of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my mat. I'm going to glue that on. And like I said, you can use the index cards. I think you can get them from the Dollar Tree, you know, a pack of them for $1.25. And they're a nice weight. I try to stick with a little bit lighter weight because I'm doing so much layering. And then just put your card on. Let's see if I can get it straight from my angle. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment on this mat. And the paper that I'm using for the base of the card, it isn't quite as thick as a lot of their other cardstock. So I did want to layer it up with the cardstock to make it stronger. Plus, I was using cream on cream, so I needed to get a mat or something behind this so that it would stand out when I got it on the card. Down a little bit further, it looks like. Okay, that's good. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto the card. And if you do just a bunch of these and you prep them, you do a bunch of the book pages, get them all glued, get all your stuff cut out, like you can just mass make these. In fact, this is going to be one of the cards that we have a card party, and it is going to be one of the cards that the ladies put together. So I'm going to put that down, and then we're going to put our top on. Now make sure your words are going in the right direction. Or your music pages, or you could even put some fun magazine pages. Glue all over my fingers. You could put, you know, fun magazine pages back there, and then do the strips with your scrapbook paper. Or you could do the book pages. Sorry, I'm thinking and trying to talk at the same time, and that's just not a good combination. You could do your book page and then get magazines, or get wrapping paper, so you can find things around your house and use them. Old bags that have pretty detailed cards, you know, different things. All right, I'm going to go ahead and glue our sentiment on. So I have to replenish my art glitter glue. I get it from maymaymadeit.com. I don't buy it from anywhere else because they will not ship unless the weather conditions are right. I had a friend who had gotten some from Amazon, and by the time she had gotten it, it was just like rubber, and she couldn't use it. But they're very careful about their shipping. And also, I buy a great big bottle to refill. I think I buy like their, I don't even know what ounce it is, but it's their biggest one that I can get. And then I refill. I'm still not out. I still have some left that will take me all through the summer and into fall, well into fall. And then I'll pick up another bottle so that I'll have it for this fall. I mean, that you're talking like almost a year or more that this glue lasts. And we're just going to add some foam mounts, which I've said before where I get these from. I just get them from the automotive section at Dollar Tree. And I go a little crazy on the foam. Yes, I know. People tell me, like, oh, you need that many? No, not really, but I like it. And they're cheap. They're affordable. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and put that on anywhere you like. I like mine right in the middle. Looks pretty good. I'm not going to push it down hard until I look at it this way. Looks good to me. All right, and there you have a quick and easy birthday card. Now, like I said, I got this from my computer. I do this on my computer, and I just print up a bunch of them. But you can use a stamp as well. You don't have to have that, or you can just leave it blank for writing. So there you go, another card. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.